Sponsored by Mobile. Alright, new Samsung foldables. In case you managed to miss all the leaks over the past few weeks, we are today taking the wraps off the Galaxy Z Flip 3 and Z Fold 3. With these, Samsung is bringing smoother displays, stronger aluminium bodies, and an improved software experience, along with a bucket load of other features. We've had a little bit of time with both Flip and Fold ahead of today's announcement, so let's take a closer look. Take a sec to subscribe so you don't miss our reviews of these phones coming soon, and we'll jump in. As you'd expect, Samsung has upgraded the displays in both phones, but before we dig deeper on that, it's worth talking about one particular upgrade on top of those screens. Both the Flip 3 and Fold 3 have fancy new screen protectors made of PET, or
polyethylene terephthalate,
which improves upon the scratch resistance of previous foldables and also feels a lot more like real glass. That extra durability is not just great for everyday use, but especially important now that S Pen support has come to the Fold 3. More on that later. The other big display news is the move up to 120Hz, finally, for the extra tall outer display of the Fold, so now it's just as smooth as the internal screen. And that internal screen now uses an in-display selfie camera. Not a hole punch, but the newfangled tech that's designed to paint pixels over the top of it when it's not in use. The effect is far from flawless, but it's a lot less obtrusive than the alternative, especially when viewing full-screen content. Any trade-offs in terms of picture quality from that new 4-megapixel selfie camera should be offset by the fact that, with a foldable, it's easy to just flip it around and take selfies with the main camera. Plus, that in-display selfie camera this time around has larger pixels at 1.22 microns. Meanwhile, the Flip 3 has gotten a larger external screen, meaning you can do more with it. You can't run apps on there per se, but it is possible to change songs, check your notifications, use Samsung Pay at the register, or toggle quick settings like Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. Samsung says it's built both devices to last, which is backed up by the addition of stronger bodies built with Armor Aluminium and Gorilla Glass Victus. Both of those help to keep the phones intact were they to be dropped. But you know, these are still foldable, so dropping them remains an extremely bad idea. In any case, both of these are rated IPX8 for water resistance too, which is a first in foldable phones. As far as dust goes, Samsung once again has fitted these hinges with tiny internal bristles to keep out any rogue particulate matter. You may have noticed the dual-tone back of the Flip 3 here, which is kind of a throwback to the look of the Google Pixel 2. Samsung swapped out the colours this time around for more muted hues, so we've got new colours like cream for the Z Flip 3, as well as subtle deep forest green tones with the Phantom Green Z Fold 3. Samsung's also thinned out both phones just a little bit, helping them feel more pocket and hand-friendly. And surprisingly, the company was able to add in dual stereo speakers to the Flip, which includes Dolby Atmos support, without adding any bulk. There's no changing the semi-awkward nature of the outer screen of the Z Fold 3, but to be fair, it's not likely Samsung intended users to spend the majority of their time on the outward display anyway. In fact, to make that internal screen more usable, Samsung's added new Labs features to help users resize any app they like, including ones that don't officially support Android's multi-window. That means you can finally binge Netflix while taking notes or messaging friends, all on the same screen at the same time. And Samsung's also made it easier to hop between combinations of apps, among many other multitasking improvements. Before we move on, a quick word from this video's sponsor, Mobile. Everyone knows smartphones can be expensive, but here's the thing nobody tells you. You can afford the latest phone if you're smart enough to save on your phone bill. With Mobile, you never pay for more than what you use, and what you use is totally up to you. With Tello, you're in complete control, so you get to build your own plan and add minutes and data as you like. Popular options include unlimited talk and text plus 1GB for $10 a month, 4GB for $19 a month, and 8GB for $29 a month with no annoying fees. All plans benefit from a 25% discount valid for the first 6 months of service. This offer is valid until August 31st. Tello works on 4G LTE and 5G nationwide in the US, plus every plan includes hotspot and comes with free international calls to more than 60 destinations. Basically what Tello's saying is anything your carrier can do, we can do better and a lot cheaper. That means no contract, great website, pay-as-you-go payment, and real human customer service. And when you find the smartphone of your dreams, you can bring it to Tello while keeping your number. Get more for less with Tello Mobile and use those extra savings to finally get your hands on the phone you really want. So what else is new with Samsung's 2021 foldables? Obviously there are a few predictable spec upgrades, with both phones being powered by Qualcomm's latest Snapdragon 888 in the US, with 12GB of RAM for the Fold and 8 for the Flip. And yes, the Fold 3 now boasts S Pen support and it is glorious. It's a natural fit for the larger form factor when the Fold is opened out, and works just as you'd expect, with a familiar loadout of features from previous Note devices. And Samsung is unveiling 2 new S Pen models alongside the Fold 3. There's the S Pen Pro, that's the Bluetooth-enabled one that works with the Galaxy S21 Ultra and other Note-branded products, and the S Pen Fold Edition, which is a bit smaller. While neither of these pens fits inside the body like it would in a Galaxy Note, they're both infinitely more comfortable to use than smaller S Pens could ever hope to be. Otherwise, these spec sheets aren't a million miles away from the previous generation of Samsung foldables. In fact, on paper the Fold 3 actually takes a slight battery downgrade compared to the Fold 2, so we'll have to see if there's any real-world impact on longevity there. While Samsung used the Galaxy S20 and S21 series to really push the boundaries of mobile photography, the Z Fold 3 and Z Flip 3 are likely to remain about as average as their predecessors were in that department. Surprisingly, Samsung has done little or nothing with the camera hardware on either device, leaving any improvements to come from software and processing alone. The Galaxy Z Fold 3 and Z Flip 3 are available for pre-order now and shipping starting August 27th. The Flip will set you back $999 in the US, which is basically as cheap as any new Samsung foldable has been, basically putting it on par with the Galaxy S21 Plus. The Fold 3 though is still the big daddy and unsurprisingly expensive with an $1,800 price tag, which is to be expected considering the hardware packed inside and the fact that it's more of a 2-in-1 device than the Flip. Balancing hardware and cost in a foldable is always a tricky proposition, and it seems this time around the more meaningful changes are the ones that aren't necessarily the most obvious on the spec sheet. Things like water resistance, the under-display camera, and of course the S Pen support. If you want the best photos, the sharpest zoom shots, or the biggest battery, it's clear Samsung wants you to look elsewhere to its mainstream flagship, the Galaxy S21 Ultra. Even with the Fold 3's high price tag, Samsung clearly is walking something of a tightrope in terms of stuff it can actually fit into a foldable of this size. At the same time, the Flip 3 brings high-end foldable technology to its most affordable price point yet. And breaking under the psychological barrier of $1,000 could do a lot for adoption of foldables in the coming year. We'll have a lot more to say on these two phones in the near future. In the meantime, share your thoughts down in the comments and subscribe so you don't miss future videos. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.